Hey, I'm slahser, and this is my way of playing Chaos Knight. I play him sometimes as a roaming hero, not having any specific lane that I will stay at, but constantly looking for kills from level 1. So why roam with Chaos Knight? It suits him since he's a very strong level 1 hero. He has 325 move speed, high damage and armor. He can win a duel against most heroes at level 1. This combined with his stun makes him a quite competent ganker. At level 6 you can also push a tower by yourself, especially if you get 2 illusions from your ultimate. Some games are better suited for roaming than others. A good roaming game would be if they have a jungler, a weak mid hero and an offlaner you can also gank together with your carry. The worst scenario is if they have both a mid and an offlaner you can't gank and a tri-lane at the safe lane. But most games fall between those two extremes, and it is usually viable to roam. At least as long as they have a jungler, you are safe, since even if you can't gank you can always just shut down their jungling hero. The advantage of picking Chaos Knight for roaming compared to say a bounty hunter is that Chaos Knight can transition to become more of a carry later. They also won't expect CK to be roaming, and you also have way better push potential compared to a bounty hunter. It is very hard for bounty hunter to kill Lina solo at level 1, but it is easy for CK. I start off buying Orb of Venom, Tengus, a Clarity and a Mango. Mango enables you to cast your stun twice during a gank at level 1, something your mana pool normally doesn't allow. Afterwards I get boots and then a bottle, then treads and drums. The items I then get depend on the game, but I usually either go for BKB, Skadi or Manta. I will get BKB first if they have a lot of magical AoE damage. Skadi can work as your first major item if you're doing well and the enemy is decent at dealing with your illusions. If they have no real way of dealing with your illusions, a Manta as first major item can be a good idea. I max stun first, then Reality Rift, then his crit. I skill ulti whenever possible. I max Reality Rift because the cooldown reduction and the range improvement is in my opinion better than getting crit early, and Chaos Knight's crit scales in a linear way, so you can't put a value point in it. Even though you are playing as a roaming hero, don't forget to farm whenever possible. If your mid hero leaves his lane to gank, this can be a good time to stay mid and get some levels and farm. You can always transition into a carry and remain more stationary in a lane if, let's say, your mid hero starts roaming after level 7. When you gank, you sometimes want to use ulti before engaging. This can be a bit risky as they may run away even though they haven't seen you. But if you want a solo kill or for example a quap, you will need your illusions ready beforehand so you can stun in Reality Rift and burst her down while she is stunned. One of the most important things when roaming is showing yourself as little as possible on the map. I die a little inside every time I see a bounty hunter TP to a lane, hit creeps a few times and then go invis looking for a kill. You want the enemy to be uncertain what lane you are going to gank, so you can catch them unawares, and secondly that they will play more carefully than they need to, since they don't know if you are close, and thus you are making them lose farm. Now this may seem to contradict what I said earlier about farming on a lane when you get a chance, but you should only show yourself if you have to. If there is someone else farming the lane, don't go and try last hit creeps as well. But if the lane is empty, you of course need to show yourself to get some farm. When ganking, be sure to warn your allies in advance that you are coming, ping them a few times and tell them you will gank. It is really annoying to go into a lane, stun a hero and then first a few seconds after that your ally reacts. When roaming, also be sure to help secure the runes for either yourself when you got your bottle or for your mid hero. Also denying the enemy mid hero the rune can really help your mid a lot and can prevent the enemy mid from ganking your side lanes. Be sure to check out my Steam guide for an in-game guide to this build. You can also catch me streaming, mostly ranked solo queue, trying out my old builds and playing new heroes. I stream usually from around 12 PM Central European summertime to 16 PM Central European summertime.